In this section, we will be discussing about ICO, how to create a crowd sale contract. We will be creating our own token on Ethereum and then a crowd sale contract for that token. Today in this video, we will be learning about ERC20 token, its standards, what is it, and what all functions and interfaces we have for the ERC20. There's a finalized and accepted ERC20 standards from Ethereum community. What is ERC20 token? Tokens that are created on Ethereum with ERC20 standards are called ERC20 tokens. We also know from the previous videos that only if we have the functions of ERC20 standards in our contract, then only we can deploy our ERC20 token contract. These are known as some minimum standards to create the ERC20 token. And to know what all these functions we need to use or have in our contract, we can go to the ethereum.org/token site. Thus, the conclusion is without these standards, we cannot deploy the ERC20 token contract. Now, this is an example for the interface of ERC20. These are some functions which we can use in our contract of token. And we all know that the minimum functions we need to have in our ERC20 are the total balance, well, obviously the transfer, the total supply, balance of, etc. Let's look at the token contract itself. Now I've created here the string, which is symbol, which is mandatory. Then comes the name of our contract, that is the name of the token itself. Then the decimals, which is usually 18. Then comes the total supply, which is 1000, which isn't mandatory to have a constant. We can change it according to our needs, and once we put that, it is final. The name shouldn't interfere or it shouldn't coincide with others. The decimals, usually we have 18, we can also have 12 and other numbers. There are two mappings which are important. Those are address to uint, and another one is address to mapping of another address to uint. Now these are mainly for allowances and to know the balance. Uint in the mapping is nothing but we are having a ID. Now let's create the functions which we saw in the interface. As you can see above, my first token is using the interface ERC20. For those who don't know what is ERC20 interface is, like I said before, you can always go to the website. Let's begin with constructor. Now I'm iterating this one more time that the previous versions of Solidity, we have the constructor as the function itself. In the latest version, we actually use the keyword constructor. Here now we're creating a function which returns the value, the total number. This is a constant function because it allows only to return a constant value. The value doesn't change at all. The total supply once we deploy our contract will be always constant. Now let's create another function. Here I'm going to create another function which will return the balance in the present address and other functions which are for transferring amount. Let's just take a moment and have a look at this function. The function is transfer and it takes address and uint as the input parameters. The return is bool, a boolean value, just to make sure whether the transfer has been successfully occurred or not. Here, one of the key things you need to remember is this, the mathematical value. Here what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the address from where we're transferring the value, it has enough balance. This is very important because, for example, if you don't have enough balance in your account and still it allows you to transfer, that's a major flaw or a bug. Thus, while auditing a contract, look at these kind of aspects. You need to look into these kind of errors if you have any, because these are the errors which can cause a major flaw, a major bug which others can take advantage of. This line, what it actually does is it reduces the value from our address, the amount in our address, and now what we are doing here is incrementing the same value in the receiver's address. It is basically reducing the amount we are transferring from our value, from our address, and incrementing that. Now we are returning the true boolean value and then false. So true will be returned if the transfer occurs correctly, and the false will be returned if it doesn't. As simple as that. This is what a transfer function is in a nutshell. There is much more to think and to understand and audit the transaction and the contract functions. Other functions from the interface which you need to use or write them are in the interface of ERC20. For example, there are transfer from and many more. In the next video, we will be learning about the standards of ERC223, which is a superset of ERC20. Although this is not finalized or completely officially accepted by ERC or Ethereum community, it still is good to know because it has a lot of advantages when it comes to ERC223 over ERC20.